So, this is Darci's Corner. This is the second time I'm trying to record this because somebody walked by and I closed up my phone and turned it off. I'm not very good at editing stuff, so I kind of got to do these things in a single take. The best I can do is hit the pause button and then start the recording again. But anyway, I digress. It's Friday, March 18th, 2022. I'm still in Alberta. It's still a pandemic going on, but it's finally springtime, and so I'm outside enjoying the fresh air. There's a little park over there, and I went for a walk. So I know I talk a lot about my trans issues, but it's my channel, and like no one else cares. So what the hell? I want to talk about let kids be kids, and I want to talk about a tweet I seen the other day from somebody who was trying to argue against the trans LGBTQ issue. And what they didn't understand is that they were making their argument for it and not against it. They were talking about the collateral damage that happens to the spouses and the kids and everybody associated with the person who comes out in their 30s and 40s. You know, if I could have been a kid that I wanted to be back when I was 4, back when I was 10, I wouldn't have married a gender that wasn't going to work for me. Or even if the gender was going to work for me, they would have known who and what I was. Because I'm pan. I like women and I like men. But my current spouse, wonderful as she is, and she is, isn't really a lesbian, so this doesn't really work for her. And it doesn't work for me that it doesn't work for her. So even though we care about each other a lot, we're not really going to be together anymore. And that's collateral damage. That's 20 years of our lives that we kind of spent. And they were a good 20 years, don't get me wrong. If I wasn't going to go through with this, I picked a good woman to be with. But seeing as I am going through with this, it's not really the best choice for her or for me. And it's not fair to her. Well, how many others are suffering as a result of this, right? How many other husbands or wives are losing their spouses, at least losing them in a way that they're no longer the person that they were when they married them, because they didn't know that was in there. And that person maybe knew, maybe didn't know, but maybe they thought, well, I can just live without it for a bit and I'll be fine, and it'll be okay. And dysphoria is a sneaky little bitch, I gotta tell you. Like, I didn't know the sadness that was in store for me. I didn't understand what a big part of myself this was that I was hiding. And it's so angering and frustrating today that I don't look and sound the way that most women do. And the reason I don't look and sound right, I keep getting a random hair blowing up in my mouth. It's driving me crazy. The reason I don't look and sound right is because I haven't been doing this since I was 10, and I should have been. From the time I was 10 on, I should have been Darci, and people should have seen me for the little girl that I was. And it would have been hard, and it would have sucked because kids are mean. But at least then I'd be the young lady that I was on the inside, on the outside. And by the way, for whatever reason, the kids always hated me anyway. I mean, I guess I couldn't have known that back then, but there was nothing I was ever going to do that was going to make me fit in with the other kids. And my transness was not obvious. My queer status was very well hidden because I wasn't an obviously gay individual. I wasn't an obviously effeminate individual. Um, but I did have queer tendencies. And, I was taught to hide them, and so I did. But if I could have embraced who I was, I would have learned the right way to sit. I would have learned the right way to walk. My speech mannerisms would be different from what they are. I would have long since mastered the voice thing, right? Like, I have to make an effort to even do this much, and I know this isn't all that feminine, but it is compared to my normal, um, my old normal, I guess. This is supposed to be my new normal. So if I would have been allowed to be a kid, to be the little girl that I was, my life would be, I don't know, better maybe isn't the word, but definitely different. Because I would have taken different career paths. I'd have different peer groups and different friends. I would know, like I would have had years of training and playing with makeup and nail stuff, and I lost a lot. And now my spouse is losing, and how many other spouses are losing? How many other families are being messed up? And the only way to avoid that is to let queer kids be themselves without shame, without fear, without being told you can't do that, it's against God, or it's against whatever, nature, or it's biology. I kind of think the trans condition is biology. I think that there's some genetic component to this. Uh, we certainly don't control it. Did you know there's no such thing as a left hand or a right hand gene? It's true. It's people still don't know why some people are right-handed and some people are left-handed, but we know that they are. But you can't see it, but it's a common phenomenon. Well, the trans thing is the same thing. It's a common phenomenon. You can't see it, but it's there. Anyway, so yeah, let kids be kids, and think about the families that are being destroyed many years later by not letting kids be who they are. So, are we coming for your kids? Sure, we're coming to educate them. We're coming to help them understand that you're not alone. That this actually is a normal process. It's not normal for the trans part, anyways, in that 98% of the population isn't trans. But for the 2% that is, there are some pretty standard normal things that we go through as children and as adults. But we only just recently started knowing this and learning this. It needs to be taught in our schools. It needs to be taught to kids at the kindergarten level. At a kindergarten level. You don't explain biology at kindergarten. But you can start to explain why some little boys are actually little girls on the inside and some little girls are actually little boys on the inside. And they might not actually know which one they are or how far they are one way or the other until they're in their teens or their 20s. That's why you transition in stages and you start off socially. And if a person transitions fully one way and then comes back 3/4 or 1/4, so this is a complex condition. It's not left or right. It's not you are him or you are her, pick a side. That's what held me back for a lot of years because I couldn't imagine giving up all of my maleness. I can now imagine it. But I haven't given up all my maleness and I don't know that I want to. But I don't have to. Well, that wasn't explained to me 12 years ago when I went to a meeting to figure out what this was. The education, even 12 years ago, needed lots of improving. But it's been improved. We have that information. And kids today who are educated on this subject grow up understanding it and knowing it. I was surprised when I was explaining this to my daughter, and she was 25 at the time, how much she already knew. I'm like, are they teaching this in school? She's like, no, but I have YouTube. So, kids can understand this. And the kids that are in the queer spectrum, they need to know it's okay. You're perfectly normal. You're just like any other queer kid. And you'll grow up and you'll be just fine being exactly who you are. Kids need to hear that from the adults in their life. They need to be supported. It doesn't matter what state, country, or province you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in Russia, Ukraine, Canada, United States, England, Australia. It doesn't matter. We are everywhere. And many of us know this as children. We just don't have people to tell. Because it's kind of a big thing. It's kind of a scary thing. Being different is always scary. Anyway, that's my rant. So this is Darci's Corner. Let kids be kids. Peace.